Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this week's conclave, which is all about energetics and specifically what's going on in your energetic field and that of others while you are out living your life or in a ceremony space. For those who are new here, this is the Church of the Sacred Synthesis. We are an entheogenic church that is looking to guide people in their expansion through self-exploration, connection with the divine, and connection, of course, with those around you. My name is Cynthia Crown-Bled. I am with the church to provide all different types of information, wisdom, and support. It's an honor to be here, an honor to share with you all from my particular lens of perception and experience. Some housekeeping things, exciting things coming up to share with you all before we dive into this week's topic is first and foremost being the July 20th Jaguar Light Wand ceremony. That will be on a Sunday morning. And for those who wish to participate, you can visit low-5.com/Jaguar to learn more information about registering for that particular ceremony, which is going to be our second. It is not a requirement for a sacrament, which is a Jaguar Light Wand, to be utilized. But if you do feel like doing so on the registration, you can get all the information that you need. And we are inviting you all as those ingesting, those members who are taking in this information that we're sharing with you all and working with sacraments and other aspects of the sacred synthesis to provide us with feedback. In the description of all of our videos, you should find, or all of our more recent videos, you should find a feedback survey in the description, and we invite you to fill that out. And it gives us some temperature on where you're at with your own work with sacred sacraments, energetics, and other things in life, and lets us know how we can better serve as we show up every week for these conclaves and in the ceremonies that we're bringing forward so that we can be of best support for your highest and best. I'm just going to check support here and make sure my audio is working. Great, thank you. The wonderful being Benjamin Moore sends his love. He is not joining us tonight, but he did say that his words of wisdom were to remember to dance. All right, so we'll remember to dance. Thanks, Ben. Fantastic. And for next week's conclave, Ben is actually going to be focusing on fun with fungi. It's all going to be about working with psilocybin in an informed and empowering way. So stay tuned for that next Thursday, coming to you from Senor Benjamin. All right, so let's get into it. So energy is not what we feel during a ceremony. It's actually the unseen dialogue between all things. It's what happens when a room goes quiet, when you suddenly feel heavy after talking to someone, or when your body tingles just before someone cries, or even like you start to feel elated and giddy. Some of the ways in which we experience energy can be maybe unexplained. There are times we know exactly what's happening and why we're feeling or sensing a specific type of energy. And today we're going to explore the language of the energetic body, how to attune to your own energetic field, set or soften boundaries, why you might want to do so, and discern when and how to merge your energetic field with others. Because sometimes we need to protect our energetic field. And sometimes we are meant to be more absorbent, more porous. And sometimes we are the surrogate kind of alchemist of sorts, feeling the collective and what they cannot yet name. So I know there's a lot of empaths out there in the world. I believe all of us are empathetic. It's just how attuned we are to how absorbent we might be. And so if you are deeply empathetic, this is a fantastic conclave for you to tune into. And I'm so honored that you're here because there's a lot of great resources that I hope to share with you all tonight that is going to be an invitation to stay empathic, stay in that beautiful gifting of being able to read a room, to be able to read the energy in someone, but also know how to energetically shield yourself so you're not fully absorbing it, or learn ways in which, or I should say, learn ways in which that you can purge these things out so they don't stay within you, they don't bog you down, they don't create a disease within the body, whether it's mental disease, physical disease, energetic disease, which if anyone's read The Body Keeps Score, we all know that it's all interconnected. So let's begin with an embodiment of presence, huh? So I invite you, if you're not driving, if you're in a safe, secure space, to close on your eyes. If you can, place your feet on the floor. Really ground down into your seat and feel whatever's holding you. Just invite your body to just relax. No more gripping, no need to hold yourself stiff. Just feel into the comfort of the couch, the bed, the chair, the floor, whatever it is that you're in, just holding you as your feet touch the ground. And imagining that your feet have these roots growing from them. And they're growing down, down, down into the earth. Really rooting us into our home, Mother Earth, connecting with her. And knowing we are not just energetic beings, but we are also physical beings who incarnated on this planet into physical form so that we could experience the physicality and some of the density of being on Earth. And knowing that we can be both rooted deeply into our planet, into our Mother Earth, this living organism that we call home. Simultaneously, we can be etheric beings, energetic beings that are connected to the highest high, and feeling that beautiful connection flowing into the top of your head, maybe through a beam of light, a waterfall of sorts. Just inviting in love, purity of light, openness, connection, clarity, peace, and security as you continue to root down into Mother Earth. And you can pull the energy up of groundedness, safety from Mother Earth as you're inviting in the etheric light energy, pulling both into your system. And you might want to say silently or out loud, I am here. I am sovereign. I am open and discerning. So as you're in this space, pulling in energy from above, the highest of the high, and the rooted safety of our Mother Earth, you begin to sense your energetic field, your auric field. And the best way that I envision this is an egg forming around my body. And sometimes your hands might come up and you can kind of slowly scan your auric field, your egg, and see if there's anything there, anything present, all the way down to beneath you, in front of you, behind you. Obviously, it's very hard with our shoulders. I don't know what your shoulder mobility is, but mine's not that of a Cirque du Soleil performer, I'll tell you that. But you can feel a little bit of your field and just explore. And if you're not feeling anything in your hands, that's okay. We're just getting attuned. Some of us are more sensitive, and some of us just need a little bit more time. And even me, who does energy work quite often, sometimes I don't feel much. And that's just a sign to me that I need to do more energetic clearing and cleansing practices, and that my field is really dense, so I'm less tuned in. So yeah, just feeling into that field, noticing if there's any hot spots, any staticky spaces, and what the texture of your field feels like. And the more that you get comfortable and familiar with some of the practices I'm going to teach you, and more comfortable and familiar with your own auric field, you'll start to notice when there's a ripple in your field. Without even putting your hands up, sometimes you might just feel something come in to your field that you don't want, and you'll be able to push it out. But spending more time, like you would with anything in your life, and developing this relationship with your egg, your auric field, your sensation, will help you notice when things are good and when it might need a little loving care. So with that, I invite you to come back into this now moment with me. We're going to get into a bit more heady stuff and setting your energy in everyday life. So energetic mastery isn't just for the circle of ceremonies, right? Or for people who are sitting in meditation. It's for absolutely all of us. It's for a phone call, for a dinner party, for your first date, for any date, for a difficult conversation, for a loving conversation. It's for the grocery store. It's literally for any interaction. And the more mastery you have in knowing your energetic field, the more easeful life can be. So here are some really simple, loving ways to check in and work with your energy daily. And one of my favorites is the color cloak ritual. This is something really great to do before you even get out of bed. And this is choosing a color each day to embody. And this will help you choose your desired energetic tones. Colors have frequency and tone energetics attached to them. So choose the color that you want. Do you want to feel powerful and sensual? Do you want to feel peace and clarity? Do you want to feel joy and happiness? All of those colors are associated, like one with red, one with white, one with yellow, etc. And choose to see it coating your field, your auric field, pouring into your egg perhaps and filling it all up. Just see it pouring into that field and just permeating your entire bubble, right? And that'll help you set your tone. And you can do this while you're driving. You just imagine if you forgot to do it before you got out of bed, you're like, oops, I forgot to set my color for the day. What do I want to be? You can drive and just with eyes open envision that your field is being covered in this beautiful color. Something before you hop on like any Zoom call or phone call or any type of engagement, really, you can ask, what am I bringing into this and what do I choose to keep? So say you just had a really stressful conversation with your father and you're getting ready to go into a really significant meeting. Do you want to show up with an energy that's like dense and sticky and heavy? Or do you want to wipe that away, rinse it from your field, and step into this new engagement with somebody from a place of like, I am this energy, I am, say, this color. I am going to step forward into this moment with a new sense of self. And that doesn't mean that you're dismissing or completely removing that other energy that's there from that engagement with someone else. But what you are doing is dismissing it from impacting you in other engagements. And so many times we're walking through life carrying one sticky situation into the next. And then when we meet someone happy, then we allow them to like permeate us with happiness. And we take that happiness into the next thing. And we're all feeding off of one another. But what I think is one of the greatest superpowers out there is determining how you actually want to feel. And so many times people are choosing to be in a bad mood, be gray, be dark, be cloudy, be stormy, for the reason of no reason other than they just feel comfortable there. They want to be in a bad mood. And you can quickly change that and choose to be in a good mood. And there's a difference between spiritual bypassing, which we're not going to talk about today, and doing these practices of choosing how you want to show up in each interaction. But just know you're allowing yourself with these practices to become more attuned with your own energy and where you're at and how you can shift and play. And this incarnation into these bodies is all about exploration and having fun with our energy, with our life experiences. And if we look at it more of like this game of curiosity, we're not going to be so stuck in being in one state or another. We're going to flow more naturally and organically. And with more choice, we are the creators of our reality. And when you realize you have the choice in which your energy is showing up, so many other things in your life start to align in a powerful, positive way. Say you have another sticky situation after going into this meeting, right? Or after like some sort of heavy share that someone has with you. After leaving that engagement, or even during, sometimes I start purging, like, bleh, bleh. And it may seem weird, but I always tell the person, like, I'm just clearing out dense energy because I'm deeply empathic. And a lot of times I become what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, the surrogate, that's the word I'm looking for people and their heavy density, right? But you can, deep breath. You can imagine, I do this a lot, like a wiper blade, wiping over my field, clearing that off, just like a wiper blade on the glass of your vehicle. You can shake, you can scream, you can beat in a pillow. Obviously, all these different things need to occur in the right set and setting. Or you can imagine just like dust falling off your body. And the power of visualization works very, very well here. And if you have challenges envisioning certain things, as I'm saying, invite your brain to soften. Invite it to just melt away and ask it to serve the highest and the best inside of you, your heart, which your heart then serves the highest and the most divine. And in doing so, you free up your brain to be in less judgment, and then invite in your imagination. And the more you can activate your imagination and soften that critical part of the brain, the protector brain and the judgment brain, you can then allow your visioning to come online quite a bit more. And the benefits of doing these different practices is they really prevent emotional fatigue. The more that you can eradicate stickiness that's projected onto you, the quicker that you can recover and be in a state of joy, happiness, connection, love, abundance, etc. It also helps enhance clarity in relationships. So if you can identify and discern between what is my energy and what is someone else's, it then allows you to decide what you want to hold on to, what you want to focus on. And as someone who I used to really give away my power, and I would go into someone else's experience and feel all the feelings for them, I've learned to like back up and allow people to have their experience way more often than I used to. And then whenever I'm feeling a certain way, it has provided me the wonderful understanding and language to say to someone, hey, I'm just going through my experience. I don't need you to take anything on for me. I don't need you to carry anything. If I feel like expressing, I say, I would love to express something, but just know this is just helping me to share, but I don't need to emotionally dump or share a bunch of stuff with people any longer in order to just get it off of me and onto them. Because that's what a lot of times we're doing when we're not aware of what's happening and we don't have clarity between what energy belongs to whom in the dynamics. You also will return to baseline much more quickly. And your baseline doesn't mean you're at this like super high. It just means you're at this like really calm state, like wherever your baseline is at, energetically. And then it prepares you to be of service to others and not be some unconscious sponge, which I've mentioned now I don't know how many times, that I used to be for a very long time. And when I'm not careful, that still can happen to me. And this is an ongoing practice. So if you start doing these practices and you're doing really well and then you fall off for a little bit, just allow yourself grace. Come back into the practices and it's going to help empower you in such wonderful ways. I'm just checking with one thing right here. Thank you. Before we move on to the next topic. Okay, great. Just making sure all the tech is working. So the next thing, the sacred yes of sharing energy. So I'd mentioned earlier that we sometimes may want to share energy. I mean, we're doing it naturally anyway. And if you are of the belief that we're all one connected being or a fractal of the divine, then we are all experiencing some beautiful element that, and in some ways, me having this experience and co-regulating with someone else brings them into the experience and then just creates this connected space for all of us. So there are really sacred moments when merging is the medicine and is the need. So when and why would you want to merge with someone's energetic field and they merge with yours? One is co-regulation. Our calm can be a lifeline for someone else. Surrogacy, which I mentioned before, I have my whole life served as an emotional surrogate for many others. I just didn't have the understanding, the language, nor the tools to know what to do with that. And now it's my highest honor to be in moments where I can be an energetic surrogate for others. And in my healing work, I will go into those practices quite often. And it happens so without my control. Many times I just surrender into the moment, and then I allow all of the energies that someone has experienced or they're going through to move through my whole being, and then I will command it out. And it's a beautiful practice. The third option is why you might want to merge is relational healing. So by merging intentionally, you can repair the trust in being felt. And what I mean by that is so many times we have difficulty with people we're having challenges with seeing their side. But if we can step into an energetic and emotional connection, many times the disillusionment of boundaries will allow your fields to merge. And out of nowhere, when you couldn't understand the person and what they were saying and trying to express to you beforehand, it suddenly becomes clear within your experience. And I believe that's the grace of the divine, allowing us to jump into the other person's experience, see their perspective, and then come back out feeling much more love, compassion, understanding, and that can lead to greater levels of repair, which can then deepen your connection in whatever the connection may be. The key here is discernment. Choosing, like, do I want to open, or did I want to share, or am I wanting to share energetically and connect to get this off of me? And the thing about these three practices, these three whys, is I want to mention they are very powerful, important, potent practices, but they are something that we need to be aware of, choose consciously. And if we don't choose consciously, just bring awareness to them when they're happening, hold them in a state of reverence and appreciation, and then know that you can close that energetic agreement, whether you both had the conversation before you went into the energetic co-regulation, the surrogacy, relational healing, or if it comes later after you did so. And what I mean by that is we can have conscious communication with people in our lives about how we want to step more forward, or do we want to stay separate in our beings. And it's almost like a consent conversation that you might have in other realms of your life. So here are some ways that you can choose your energetic agreement and engage with people so that these contracts can be much more conscious, and they can be long term or they can be more brief. So here's a way to invite people to choose what they're available for. The first one being, I'm available for emotional intimacy, but not entanglement. So what that means is you're not necessarily becoming what people are calling codependent. But what you are doing is coming together and having emotional conversations, both people owning what their experience is, but not ping-ponging off of each other. Also, when somebody might be coming towards you and they're wanting to connect, you might have to be a bit more clear of saying, I open my field only when it feels safe, reciprocal, and nourishing. So many times people who are energetically unhealthy try to connect and do radical things, and this is their survival mechanism. I know I was guilty of that. I've seen it many times in relationships with others, and I'm not sharing this to shame anyone. I'm just sharing it as a way of providing awareness to this particular topic. And so we can hold people in loving compassion and also provide them with some nourishment and some support. Maybe this video could be sent to them for some help. You can say to yourself, I witness others from my rooted center, not from absorption. And when I merge, I remember how to come home. Come home. This practice I'm about to share with you all came from my beautiful teacher, Kim Pence, kimpencelight.com. And she's the one who brought it into my awareness, and I'm sure you've seen renditions of it. But And I've modified my own over the years, but the basic practice is this. Whenever you're feeling scattered, like parts of you are all over the place, you can't really come into a state of clear mind. You just feel like your thoughts are ping ponging to like Tim in Thailand, Jane in, I don't know, Jane who's at the bakery down the street, to that project that you've been working on, to, oh my gosh, what's my pet doing at home and this problem, and you're just all over the place. Or you feel like you've become energetically fractured and you're just not present, like almost like you're floating out of your body. You can do this. I like closing my eyes because with my eyes closed, I feel my energetics much more clearly. So maybe that will work for you. But I just say to myself, either out loud or silently, I command all aspects of myself back to me from all timelines, lifetimes, experiences. And then I envision all aspects of me coming back, and it feels like there's this magnet in the center of my being. So maybe you want to envision a magnet in the center of your being. And it's like all those little pieces of metal, we'll use that analogy, are coming back towards you. I envision and say, all the experiences and conversations I've had with people today and interactions I've had with people, all the social media that I've placed out there, all the energetics that I've projected out into the world today, I would like to claim them back, come back to me, come back to me, come back to me. Any thoughts others have had of me, conversations of me, I call all of that back to me. Everything that's in regards to me and my center being, I call it all back in this lifetime, in this timeline, and all the others, because we do live in multiple timelines. So by doing that, we can pull ourselves back in. And just doing that now, I can feel, because I haven't done this practice yet this evening, I can feel aspects of myself really pouring back into me. And as you do this practice more frequently, you might notice that some days there's a lot of you that's been spread out, and other times there's not so much, and you feel kind of whole. My recommendation with this beautiful, simple, yet extremely powerful practice, is, I'm feeling very clear now, is to do it in the morning after you come out of a dream state, and then in the evening before you go to bed. And it's a beautiful practice to do as you're doing your gratitudes, after you finish scanning your day for beautiful experiences, lessons learned, challenges overcome and experienced, and then calling and commanding everything back to you. You'll get this beautiful sense of like where you're at in the system. And what you can also do, which is equally potent, is you can send anyone else's energy back out the same way, just reversing the language. Anyone's energy that came into my field today, who I thought about, talked about, experienced, engaged with, read, ingested, all information that is not of my soul's original blueprint, my individual being, I command you out of my field, go back to where you belong, merge elsewhere with your original source. I am my own being, sovereign and within my own energy field. And then if you want to up level that practice, you can then envision your auric field, your beautiful egg, and you can start to fortify it with different colors. You can bring in, like I bring in a lot of pink, a lot of compassion and love into my field quite often. Sometimes I'll set it with yellow for happiness, or like I want to connect with my solar plexus for willpower, whatever have you. And I really fill my egg up with this beautiful color. And sometimes I'll envision a waterfall to wash over me with this like crystalline white light. I call it the Reiki waterfall. And then after that waterfall of energy flows down and into me, and the colors are filling up my entire egg, I then put this gorgeous shell of gold around it. And that gold is reflective. So nothing can see into my auric field. It's just all protected and mirrored. I love doing this practice before bed. Love it. And I wasn't planning on talking about this, but now I'm in the flow and it feels really good because I'm talking about nighttime things. We do astral travel and have timeline experiences beyond just our normal brain clearing out things that we needed to process throughout from our experiences that have happened throughout the day. And you can say and command to your being, to your astral body, I'm not going to travel tonight. I need to sleep. You can also command to be protected throughout the sleep, because other beings, and I don't want to get into that too much, but they will come in and observe you, experience you, and some will actually nosh on your energy field when you're sleeping. This has happened to me many, many, many times in my life. Again, I didn't know up until more recent years what was going on and how to protect myself. So you can create this energetic field of protection around you, even while you're sleeping, which is so beautiful and powerful. I wasn't planning to go there, but I'm glad we did. The next thing I want to touch on is ceremony-specific energetics. So if you're going into a medicine ceremony, it's key to know that we are opening up portals, utilizing these beautiful sacraments that are here as giftings for our expansion. And I believe that these expanded states, these altered states, are places that we can get on our own over time. But the medicines, the plants, the animal sacraments, they all help us get there more rapidly, and I believe show us what is available that we may not see with our, I'll say, like our regular vision, our regular state of mind. And what they do is they pull back the veil. And I believe that the more you pull back the veil, the more you open up, whether it's through non-psychedelic practices, through meditations, breath work, envisioning, energy work, etc. Or if you're using psychedelics, the more that you see these different dimensions and beings and codes and things like that, the more normal it becomes, so that you're less scared when they start to happen in kind of your like waking, non-altered state of mind. But because we're talking about medicine specifically here, and that's where most people are experiencing these alternative energy sources, whether you're seeing beings around you or you're experiencing energy from others within that container, it's really important to move into a state of surrogacy and autonomy and clarity, and also surrender, to know that sometimes it's great to be in the mix of others. I have been in ayahuasca ceremonies where I've been so annoyed and upset because I've just been pinged and pinged and pinged by other people's energy next to me. And when I first started going to these ceremonies, I didn't know the energetic shielding, and I didn't know how in my normal life how to protect myself. And I believe that was an analogy, an example of what was going on in my regular life and how unprotected I was from people in my waking, normal, non-ayahuasca life. And that's why I was experiencing it in ceremony. And that person next to me who was radiating his energy out really big was actually a surrogate for, not necessarily to feel my energy, but a surrogate of an example of my life and where I needed to bring in the work, right? So you might have different experiences like that. But the walls fall and boundaries definitely blur in medicine ceremonies. So you might feel emotions that don't belong to you. You might become the transmuter of energies for other people, or the vessel for what the collective cannot yet process. So that's a hard one. That's definitely a hard one. But know that when you are in ceremony space, everyone's working. They chose to be there in that container to move through some energy. So here are some signs that you're in surrogacy and it's not your energy. If there's a sudden weeping or purging without a story attached. And I will give this caveat. It depends on the medicine that you're working with, of course. So just take this all with, some nuance to it. You might feel a wave pass through and then lift, or someone's experience feels like your body is doing it for them. I had an experience a few months ago where I was in doing mushrooms with someone I love very much, and it was our first time doing mushrooms together in a private ceremony, and his shadow slipped off of him and into my body. And when that occurred, I went into all these thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences, and physical expressions that I knew instantly, these are not mine. This is a collective of all of his different pains and sufferings and and more, I will say, darker, negative experiences in his life. And I'm feeling all of them. And this is bringing me into a greater understanding of everything that he's experienced in his life, which of course generates compassion in me. But then it also, when I was finally had felt it all and I was ready for it to move out of me, I was able to command the energy out of my body. You're seeing me do this with my hands, if you can see that. Placing the hand onto the ground in front of me, connecting with the root of Mother Earth. And then there was a flame as a part of our ceremony, and commanding all of the energy out of my body, out and into the flame. And I commanded it with a very serious, strong, powerful tone. And that is something to know. We cannot have fear when we're experiencing dark energies. I have felt a lot of fear in my experiences and still do from time to time. But then I remember, oh, I'm powerful. I'm more powerful than any of these dense energies that come in, and I can command them out of my system. And you can do that by saying, my queendom, my kingdom is sovereign. I am a sovereign sacred being. I command what's in my field, and I command you out. Something along those lines. And with that true deep knowing, and it took me a long time to get there. So if you're still on this, on the journey of understanding where you are and how powerful you actually can be, and how in loving control you can be of your field, just know it's okay. You will get there, but you'll, a little bit at a time of commanding your field and commanding things out, you can. So you might have a really big experience like that. I was literally like shaking my head and my body was moving all over, and had to put a pillow on the floor because I was like wanting to bang my head on the floor out of like the feeling of frustration that I was experiencing in this surrogate experience. They might be really big like that, or just really gentle. Sometimes I get these like waves of like just sadness in my body, and I have to ask, is this mine? And you can muscle test or do the sway technique if you can find out what the yes or no is in your body, or you can use a pendulum and you can ask the pendulum, show me yes, show me no, and it will. And it's attuning to your subconscious. And then you can ask we'll say the pendulum, is this my energy? And if it says no, then you can ask, is it so-and-so's, blah, blah, blah. Is it this? Yes or no questions, really clear answers for defined questions. And then once you know if it's yours or not, you can then determine what you want to do. So what you want to do is just like really feel anchored in your being, feel your feet, feel your breath. If you want to check in with your pulse, and then say, this is not mine, and you can push it out. I always like to work with a flame. You can work with smoke, so like sage, Palo Santo. You can shake, you can make sounds. You can go into nature and ground on the earth and ask Mother Earth to take the energy that is not yours and recycle it into her field, which she will do. And just know that this is not something we're out here seeking to do all the time. While I know that I have very strong abilities in the healing space, I'm not looking to heal people or take on their stuff all the time. If anything, I'm looking to not do that and only have awareness and consciously choose when I'm doing it. So surrogacy is not martyrdom. It's really a sacred practice, and it's something to really do only if you can reclaim your energy afterwards. So energetic hygiene is super, super important. So if you're a facilitator working in an energetic space, or like a space holder or a guide, it's really important. And even if you're just a participant, you can set your energetic field, do your own clearing work by, commanding energy out of your field, calling yours back in, feeling your auric field, filling it up with those colors of light, etc. And once you set that field and you know what your container consists of, you can then scan the circle before it opens, or while the circle is opening. And this is not to place judgment on others. What you're going to do is then soften your mind, open up your imaginal abilities, and you're just going to do a circle of the room, just acknowledging each person energetically. And you can even do this before you go to the ceremony container. The last time I did ayahuasca, I went into a meditation and I was doing my energetic work on myself, and I started to envision the circle. and I saw every single person's face that I was going to see in ceremony. And I got a read on every single person that was there. And so you can do this too. And the way that you do this is through trust. You call it forward, even if you haven't seen everyone's faces yet, you can see their energetic signatures. And with your remember to soften your mind and open up your imagination, and you just call for the people that you're going to be experiencing, or the people you see before you if you're in the opening circle. And you trust the very first thing that you think, you feel, you experience. You don't have to question it. You just trust that. Oh, okay, that's what that is. I see you, I acknowledge you, and then you move on. So that helps you get grounded in the container that you're stepping into. And this doesn't mean you're going to create fear around it. It's just knowing what you're moving into. And then when you're moving through the ceremony space, and if you see someone in pain and suffering, you can say, I witness your pain, but I don't take it on. And that was something I had to learn in a big way in medicine ceremonies, because I tended to take everybody's stuff on. I was trying to experience what they were experiencing because that's one of my giftings, and I wanted to help heal them. But then I noticed I was getting scared and it was too much for me. And it was when I learned to say, I witness your pain, but I do not take it on, that I started to be a little bit disconnected from their experience and not going to that surrogacy space, so that I could then go into my own experience in my own energetic field and see what needed some mechanical loving. So another great thing to think about with all of this is what's going on in your own nervous system. I believe the nervous system is deeply connected with our spiritual experiences and our earthly experiences. So if we can continue to cleanse out our nervous system and purify it of toxicities and triggers, and just be more grounded in our state, which is what the sacraments that we work with here at the Sacred Synthesis do. They really help calm the nervous system. You can then be this open vessel, this more purified cup that can feel just like calmness, softness, ease, or whatever it is that this is, an expanded energy state. So when something comes swooping into your field out of like left field, you'll know, ooh, that didn't come from me. Where did that come from? And start to look and do the questions of where did this come from? Does this belong to me? What can I do with this? And if you don't want to do anything with anyone's energy, know that that is totally okay. And you can push it back to them. You can push it back to them. So I hope that this resonated with you all today. This is a topic I could go on and on and on and on and on about. I do want to open up the invitation that if any of you have personal questions, you can reach out to me via my website, cynthiacremblett.com, and I will lovingly answer any questions that you may have. I also do private sessions working with people in the energetic space, and it's a fascinating space to step into. And I just want to encourage you to know that you are absolutely sovereign in your energetic field. You get to determine what impacts you, what does not. And the way to move into a state of sovereignty and determination is just doing these practices, coming into a quiet state, inviting in softness, inviting in no noise, no music, no movies, no people, just being in a state of presence with yourself. And I know it's very hard to do for many of us. I, for the longest time, had to have music on. I had to have some sort of noise going on. And what I realized was that noise was keeping me from exploring my monkey mind, my shadow thoughts, the things that were really calling to me to give them love and presence and awareness, because it was too much. But as I started really going into my healing journey more and more and more, I realized the best thing I could do for my being overall was to be in a state of silence, reverence, clearing my energetic field, doing Reiki on myself. Reiki is something we all have access to. There are different levels of activations and initiations that come through it. But I recommend the simplest process is rubbing your hands together, generating some heat. And once that feels really nourishing, you can start to feel the chi between your hands. You might feel strings, you might feel static, you might feel heat, it might feel like chewing gum, might feel furry. Everyone has a different texture to their energetic field. And as you pull your hands together, the sensation might feel different as you push them together and pull them apart. And then with Reiki, you always start at the top of the head, and then you move down the body. And there's specific protocols, which you can Google. It's all present online to move through the body and how much time to spend and what the sensations might feel like. But as you do this, like even now I'm doing Reiki on myself, inviting in this nourishing, loving life force energy to just cleanse and clarify my system. I'm feeling much more soft and relaxed, like, and you just move all the way down the body, all the way down the body. And if the hands start to feel way too staticky or heavy or hot, I scrape mine off, typically with a flame or towards like a window. You can swipe them, and inviting that energy that's not meant to be a part of your being to move away from you. You can do Reiki on your pets. You can do it on other people. And it's a really beautiful introduction to, I would say, formal energy work. But you can also just use visualization techniques. I mentioned earlier, I do a waterfall quite often. And I just, in my car driving or even sitting here, I just lean back slightly from where I'm postured, just a little bit. And I invite in this beautiful, like white, if you can imagine a white light that glitters, that is in form of like a water falling down. And I just envision that pouring down into my entire being, and first like soothing any static that's in my crown chakra and anything that is of disillusionment, anything that is of disservice, anything that is of disconnection, that is of duality, invite it to just wash down out and through me, all the way down and then flowing into Mother Earth. But there's so many beautiful practices, and the great thing is you have your own imagination, you have your own original soul's blueprint, and you have your own wisdoms. So don't feel like you always have to copy what someone else is doing. Invite that spaciousness and curiosity to see what comes forward for you all. So thank you so much for being a part of this conclave. It is my highest honor to be here and sharing a little bit of information from time to time that has truly helped me, empowers me, and I really pray that it brings a sense of love, connection, peace, joy, happiness, abundance, playfulness, dance into your being, and actual self-acceptance that it's okay that denser energies come in, because we know how to work with them and we do not have to be afraid. So I hope this moved you forward with radiance and you feel rooted. And just remember, I am whole, I am sovereign, and I am love. I'll see you all next time. And just remember, July 20th, we are having the Light Wand ceremony, which we will be working with one of our beautiful sacraments that helps calm down the nervous system. And then next week, Ben will be talking all about fun with fungi. So see you all again. Bye.